First, thank you. Thank you, everybody. He's already filming everything. So, thank you for being here. I hope you had a great lunch and you won't fall asleep. Tonight we'll have this fun party with bowling and probably drinks and a lot of discussion as well about Sylus and everything else. So this talk will be about Sylus. We don't have the green one. It will be also about my journey as kind of for myself as a PHP developer and with everything we did in the company in the last 5 years. So stay focused because I have like something like 115 slides. So it's going to be fast. So I hope not to speak too quickly. So a Sylus journey from zero to production in less than 30 minutes. So is that 30 minutes really something? I mean, can we have a Sylus from an empty directory to the production in less than 30 minutes? Does somebody did that already? So like you start from scratch, nothing, and in production, live, working, you have a Sylus in less than 30 minutes? Okay. So as a developer, what can you do in 30 minutes? So let's take, it's not fast, but okay, you have a beer already, and so you can init, of course, your repository, install all the Sylus PHP dependencies. You can install all the node dependencies, front-end dependencies. You can build them. You can have MySQL up and running locally. You can have PHP running locally as well. And then you have to install Sylus. So that's easy. You can require some plugins because Sylus is a framework, so you need to install some plugins or to do some custom developments. You add everything, you commit everything, and you push everything. Okay. So 30 minutes, it's mainly because the yarn install takes time. And then you need some time to do the installation of the plugins. Some of them, they have Flex recipes, so that's fine, and some of them don't. So that's it. But we need something live, right? So we are going to deploy all of that in 30 minutes to a fresh new server which doesn't exist yet. So I'm Jacques, so I'm the CTO of Monsieur Biz. You can call me Jack for the non-French people. I hope the French people will call me Jacques. So I'm CTO, I'm DevOps, I'm salesperson, management person, whatever person in this company. Since 10 years already. The birthday was a month ago. So let's go back a bit to 2010. That's far. I've started my career as a web developer with, Ben Marx is not here, too bad, Magento. Magento at this time was growing. It was spreading the word about PHP, about e-commerce, about open source. Everything was easy to customize, especially the layout that Ben did not understand, but I did. So my journey with Magento was great, I think. Magento 1, not Magento 2. 2013. So I've created this company called Monsieur Biz. So that is a French web agency specialized in e-commerce. And same year, we got the first release of Sylus. So on GitHub, at least. And did you know that this first release was the 0.2.0, and it was released before the 0.1.0? it's the reverse, normally. Okay, continue to 2018. 2018, it's the release of the 1.3.0 of Sylus. Thank you, Pamela, here. And since then, we made a lot of work. So the journey starts almost there with Max, who is here. So we had our first talk at the Forum PHP in Paris in 18, sorry, end of October. So it was about a chocolate maker. We failed. We failed the entire replatforming of this project. It was on Magento, and we really underestimated the learning curve of Sylius and Symfony. So we didn't code with Symfony before. So yeah, we failed. So we had to put back the entire design, the new design, on Magento. So that was a real failure. Like, you want to move to Sylius, but no, guess what? You gotta continue and keep your Magento. 2018 was also the first year of our partnership as a company. I always said to myself that I will never sign a partnership because it's selling you to the devil. But at the end, we had this discussion with Sylus, and they really share our values and principles, my values, my principles. So we did that. And it's been 5 years, so it's going great. 2019. So everything has been going well since then. So we got our first Sylus live. So second attempt, first live. We got our first newcomers live. This is strange, but I'll talk about it later. This is only an admin panel. There is no front end at all. Ooh. We did a few big projects. So it's funny to have one here, but and then we got our second newcomers. So this one is really great because everything is customizable using the admin panel of Sylus. And all along the road, we made plugins. So we have a bunch of plugins. All of them are under the MIT license, so you can use them, you can try them, and I hope you will find some here and you will install them on your project. So I'll go quickly on some of those. The search plugin first. Who knows this plugin? Okay. Maxime, of course, yes. So this plugin is already on version 2. It's great. It allows you to have a search engine running with Elasticsearch on your project. It's kind of developer-driven. Let's say you can add more entities to search, and it works. That's it. You can search for products, of course, and taxons. The settings one is my favorite. We use it on all our projects. Yeah, all of them. This one is great. Basically, I decided one day to get all the Magento configuration parts and code it on Sylus. So you can have specific configurations, I don't know, IP keys, or even footer sentence, the year as example, but you can do that another way. But in your admin panel, and with that you can just say, okay, for this channel it's this value, for this channel but this local it's this value, for the default it's this one, and so on and so on and so on. And since they are simple forms, you can implement whatever you want in those forms. CMS page. It gives you the capability to have pages on your specific CMS pages on your Sylus, and it uses another plugin on the next page. And oops, the menu one is, we decided to build it for SEO purposes at the first time. We can have, by default, you have the navigation menu of Sylus, but you can have the footer menu, you can have the customer account menu, you can create all the menus that you want. So let's go a bit faster on those plugins. The Rich Editor is not my favorite, but probably the best if you need to customize your shop with Sylus. I think, in my opinion, you can have all these UI elements everywhere. They are dynamic, and you can code them with PHP. You can do almost whatever you want. And somebody made a pull request maybe a month ago or 2 months ago about the layout. So now you can have columns and rows and so on. So you can have your own layouts. The home page uses the Rich Editor. The CMS page on the previous page uses the Rich Editor as well. We have the Media Manager. It's still kind of work in progress, even if we have the first version already released. It works, and that's what we want. It's not perfect, but it works. The no-commerce one is this one is great. First, it was just only disabling all the e-commerce stuff on your shop. Some people may ask why not monophony, but we decided not to recode everything and to have this possibility to turn back on the e-commerce stuff, so to stay on Sylus. And a few weeks ago, I think, maybe a month or two, we decided to add this capability on the settings of this plugin. So now you can say this channel has e-commerce, this one doesn't, and so on. You can also disable the some firewalls using the routing of Symfony. So you can disable the front-end firewall. So basically the first no-commerce website we add, only an admin panel. You can know it's easy to do. You install this plugin and you turn off the front-end and the e-commerce. The one I would like to talk about here is the order history. It has been created by a colleague of mine, David. Basically, you have everything about your order in the admin panel. You know when the customer added a specific product. You know when the order was addressed. You know when the order was placed. You know when the order when any change happened in the history of this order. And it's kind of a must-have. The contact request here, it's simple but useful. By default, Sylus doesn't store the messages you get from the contact form in the database, and you can't rely on emails, right? So we made this one. So feel free to have a look at them. There is an URL in the bottom of the slides, but you can, of course, go to our GitHub and filter on Sylus plugins. That's exactly what it does, because it's a redirection. We have plenty of challenges still. We need to upgrade all those plugins when a new release of Sylus is out. We decided to block to the latest public version of Sylus because we can be more open and say, okay, those plugins, you can install them with any future version of Sylus before the 2.0. But that would mean for us a lot, probably, of issues. And it doesn't work, yeah, but we know, but we don't have time. So we prefer to say, doesn't work, sorry. And to do the upgrades by ourselves when we create a new project. But of course, if somebody needs it, you can still open an issue or even try with a pull request. And maintenance takes time, a lot of time. Whew. Let's do some cookies. So, because plugins wasn't the purpose of this presentation, but it has to be in it. So what do we need? We need the perfect e-commerce platform. So we need, of course, Sylius. We need the perfect plugin, so we have a bunch already. We need the perfect hosting, and that's the most difficult part. How do you perform an entire installation in less than 30 minutes without any good hosting provider? So I took approximately 2 months. I tried 6 of them, something like that. And I've decided to go for a public cloud. That's important, secured one, and the security is really probably their first priority. And I wanted to have scalability. So vertical scalability and horizontal scalability and vertical scalability. And one thing I really wanted was a command line interface. This command line interface allows me to create easily PHP applications, databases, and shared file systems. Also, with a CLI, I can script anything. Although this one can fetch the logs of the project. I can restart the app, I can do many operations, and even create other stuff. We can just install a simple project with MySQL and PHP. So first we create the PHP applications, then we create the MySQL add-on, and we link it to the PHP application, and we create the file system, of course. So this file system has to be mounted to the media directory. That's quite important, because if you scale and you lose your media, your F-word, you need to scale the application, so you tell the application that it can scale horizontally and vertically, or none, it depends. And then you deploy, and it works. I mean, normally it works. So, the name of this hosting provider, it's this conference is not, I don't get anything from them, you know. So Clever Cloud is nice. It's environment variables driven. I will say env variables because this environment word, I can't say it too much. So you can fine tune PHP, you can add varnish on the fly. We had the talk from Signolia about that. You can add Blackfire, Neuralink. You have a cron tab. It's easy. You have workers out of the box. So this one is nice because you just have to put one variable and say, this is my worker. And everything is under the hood taken care of. You have all the hooks during the deployments, so you can run all the Symfony stuff, like warming your cache and so on. So when the application runs, everything is perfect for this application to run. You can have many PHP extensions, even paid ones, of course. You can get all the logs, put them on your Datadog instance or your Elasticsearch or whatever you want, and you have by default metrics. By default, you have Grafana there, and you can have alertings if you want. So basically, it's magical, kind of. With this, you need to have the perfect CI/CD. So CI stands for continuous integration, and CD stands for continuous deployment or continuous delivery, depends. So we decided to go for or with GitHub Actions, of course. We need to orchestrate everything with all those tools. I'm a bit ahead of time. Yeah. So for that, we decided to go with Castor. Castor means beaver in French. It's gently given to us by Jolly Code, and you can write a simple file to have your own tasks. It's in PHP, so it's fine. It's written with PHP 8, all the attributes, everything works well. So this one, you run Castor hello, and it says hello world. You run Castor hello John, and he says hello John. That's easy. It's written with Symfony, so it uses all the process stuff, all the command line styles, everything from Symfony. And so you have the common help that you mostly know, because I think you've used already the .bin/console binary in your project. So you can see the hello, say hi command here. One good thing with Castor is that you can repack your own binary. So it's quite easy. You have to get all the Castor dependencies, because you can't repack from a .far. That's not really convenient. And then you get your name, the name of your application, and you repack everything. And so you can use your application like this. So it's nice because, did I move it? Yeah, okay. So it's nice because now that you know that, you can, I can do binaries that I can share to everybody, and this binary is going to do a lot of things. I talked too fast. Let's make a pause. Oh, sorry? Yeah. So we wrote a bunch of commands to accomplish what we want. So hours of coding, not really actually. It's more, it is hours of coding for our task, and my apologies for the quality of this coding. I've done that like sometimes I have 10 minutes, let's do that. So it's not really quality first. Other things from Sylus, like the new resource bundle, is more quality coding. So let's set up Sylius and with one command. So it takes 4 minutes. So with this, you can set up a Sylius 1.12, because I decide so, with PHP 8.2. Obviously, if you try to install the 1.12 with PHP 5, it doesn't work. After running this command, you have the entire directory filled with all the Sylus files, and you have your own developer environment up and running. We use Symfony PHP built-in web server. So we have Sylus.work-in-progress, and we have a database. And the last line is a mail catcher, because we don't want the emails to go out in the nature. I remember somebody sending a tweet test to thousands of people. That's not about tweets, but it's about mails. So that's still possible to make those kind of mistakes. We need to initiate Clever Cloud, so all the hosting. So we just say, okay, we need an application for production. We tell the command line that we need that in this organization, with this size of PHP, this size of MySQL, and we protect our projects all the time. When you deploy for the first time, unless you are very, very in a hurry, you protect your project, because when it's live. So Google can go there, bots can go there, and so on. Oh no, it's not there, it's next step. So this one takes 30 seconds to run, right? Quite fast to have an entire server-side stuff. The tool we built is creating all the variables that you may need. So if you take a look more, we have the worker runs the middle. We change the web root. We have all the hooks here. We have the file system, the FS bucket. We have the database. We enable the APCU extension for PHP. We upgrade the memory limits. And we even set the Sylus fixture hostname to sylus-prod.cleverapps.io. We add a bunch of other variables like a binary pass, because we use most of the time WK HTML to PDF for invoices. You may have used it as well. And we use for image optimization the two binaries in the top. We need to initiate the GitHub environment. This one, we put the token and the secret of Clever Cloud. So obviously they are not ... You set up the envs, meaning the variable environments for the branch main, and you tell the URL. So you will have something like this. So we had 2 deployments on this project. I edited the HTML because we failed a lot. But so you have this. Every time you push, the CI runs. And then if the CI passes, you get the deployment. Boop. Here, the tool we made allows you to select the plugins that you want, because Sylus is a framework, so you need the plugins. So let's go for 4 plugins: the CMS page, contact request, the menu, and the settings. The settings will be installed, but you won't see anything in the admin panel, since the 3 plugins here, the first 3, they don't use the settings, but you are free to do your own settings forms in your project or to install other plugins. So we even have Stefan Dorn plugins and singular ones in the bottom of this slide. Everything is done for you, even the operations that you don't like to make. So it runs the migrations. Everything is done in order, so plugin per plugin. It runs sometimes some commands with yarn and so on, so because you have to rebuild stuff. So it takes 2 minutes for these 4 plugins, and then at the end we propose you to rerun the fixtures if you want in your local machine. So we commit everything, and we push everything. It takes 5 seconds. This is a pipeline by default we have on our project. So it runs some testing. Basically, what do we have? We have quality tests, some linters. We test the schema, we test the security, CVEs with the Symfony security checker. What do we do? I have time. Yeah, that's it. Evan, maybe Maxime remembers something? Yeah, we do all the PHP CS fixer, PHP MD, PHP stan, and so on. So all the tests, we run all the tests. And we install the database, we check for the schema, if it works well, if there is no issue. And we install all the fixtures. So basically we do this, the project has a make install, a make file, and so we do a make install, and it installs everything. So if something fails, doesn't deploy. I mean, that's literally doesn't deploy. And when everything is completed, it deploys to production. So it takes 2 minutes and 16 seconds here. So how long? 4 minutes for the CI to run, and a couple of minutes to deploy. We still, we can improve the CI part. We need to run stuff in parallel, but we never really took the time to improve this part of the project on all our projects. The longest part, if the make is the make install, it takes something like 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the project. Some projects may even run in something like 7 minutes, because we have a lot of front-end dependencies, so the yarn install is quite long. So altogether, it takes approximately 11 minutes. So we still have time, and I really have time for a couple of cookies. So this project is called the Sylus setup. It's, I think we put the MIT license on it. So you can go see The source code, it's not really great. We put all our default stuff in it, so we have all our development environment. We have all our pipeline. You can obviously you can tweak everything. We have our makefiles. It's a makefile with sub-makefiles. So basically, on that project, you have you can set up a new project as we do in the company. Everything. Yeah. Actually, that's why I made this project, is because we had to set up 3 projects in a week. And normally a setup takes, when you have to install all the plugins and the developer doesn't know how to install them and etc. It takes a day. So 3 days. So I took 1 day to build that, kind of, and we saved 2 days, and now we saved a lot more. So what's next? Obviously, we need to improve the plugins installations, because you've seen 20 plugins in the list before. Not all of them have the function implemented with all the calls that you need to make to install those plugins. Some plugins, they need to update the PHP files, update YAML. So all those manual operations, the tool stops you and says, hey, you need to do that and that and that. And when it's done, hit enter. So you would do that, you hit enter, and it continues. And then it does all the yarn install stuff again. We need to have more tasks, because right now this tool doesn't install or set up the Elasticsearch server instance or cluster on Clever Cloud. And obviously, we really need to refactor a little. Again, my full apologies for the source code. And we need to improve the hooks for Clever Cloud, because one I think of is when you run the application for the first time, you got a 500 error because there is no channel in the database. So we may need to at least add 1 admin user by default when the project hasn't been initialized ever. But yeah, I've already the SQL request, but we need to add that. And of course, we've been creating, I don't know, but something like a plugin a month or something like that, maybe 10 this year. So we need to add more plugins because Sylus needs those. And there is plenty of those plugins. Setano, Joachim, who's not here today, but made a lot of them. And one thing is missing, yeah, the theming. So we had one project, but didn't last. So like this Tuesday, I decided to put it in read-only mode because we have better plans. That's written. So our plans are to go even deeper in all the installation part and to be able to run a new Sylus within 30 seconds. That's the goal, and the goal is to have this new Sylus install up and running with all the configuration and, of course, with your own theme. So please try this tool, open issues, ask questions, even try some pull requests. Normally we don't bite. Sometimes we bite. And try the plugins because we really spent a lot of time on them, and that will be great. And don't forget to start those projects, please. Thank you. Yes.
Have you considered using Symfony Flex for automating steps in plugins? You were saying that sometimes when you install a plugin, they ask you to do stuff. Is that for your plugins or other plugins?
It depends. Almost all our plugins have the Flex recipes. So they are both in our own Flex recipe repository and in the Symfony contrib one. But some plugins, they ask you to update like the kernel.php. Probably, maybe. With Flex, no, for sure. But you can run a script or something. But that's we didn't do it because it's in the README and stuff like that. So when I implemented the installation of the plugins, I was like, oh, damn, we have this kind of steps. So for now, it's not implemented. But we can use, I mean, Symfony has the Symfony Maker stuff. So we can probably with the word doesn't come. So we can probably update the PHP files. We part them, we update them. But thing is, if your kernel isn't the standard, we can apply like a git diff. We can do that. So we need to find a solution and to take the time to implement it.
Flex is not always the solution for installing automatically the plugins with all the required.
No, but most of the time it does the job.
Like 80%.
I don't know. 80.
I'm referring to 80% as a correct.
Okay, 80%.
20%
At
80% results, and then the rest.
Okay, okay.
With the exceptions.
Yes?
Given that you don't use Docker for PHP, is it a lot of work to set up all the system dependencies? For, like you have a new computer and you want to run this, you know, install PHP, all the system dependencies, PHP extensions and stuff like that?
Right, good question. At the beginning, many years ago, we had Docker with PHP, but all of the developers in the company, we are on macOS. So you may know that macOS and Docker is kind of slow. I mean, the new MacBooks, it's better, but still. So yeah, we made that decision because running PHP with the Symfony built-in PHP web server is fast, normally fast. And yes, you have to install the extensions. So, but you do that once, when a new version of PHP is released, you install it, you install the dependencies. And even if you forget that, when you run your application, APSU is not there, so you have to install it. So, okay, pickle, install APSU, it's fine. But you need, with the new versions of Symfony, you need, maybe if you use Tailwind, you need to have the Tailwind binary, you need to have, here with my presentation, you need to have the Castor binary, you need to have the GitHub binary, you need to have the Clever binary. So many things you need to install, but I think that's fine to install those tools and to just to save a lot of time and money afterwards.